Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you. You're watching a brand new episode of Encounter. This is the second part of the interview with Subheer Ramnorath, who is a CEO, an author, a musician, amongst many other things. And he often speaks about leadership also, which I forgot to mention in the previous episode. Subheer, at the end of the previous episode, let's just recap. You spoke about creativity, empathy, how the human body is one of the best technologies, and we focused on tapping in the human potential and personal growth. In this episode, I feel that we have to speak about how it is important to be creative when we face difficult situations in our lives, but also when we're going to speak about education, it's not only about the academic education, but also why it is important to self-educate ourselves, how it is important to, what I'm guessing is, ask the right questions and go find the right answers.
Exactly.
And one more thing is what I would like to talk more about in this episode is values, and which me and you, we've had the opportunity to share many classes some 30 years ago. But we'll talk all about it. So, Subheer, very warm welcome, and thank you for still being in the studios of the NBC.
Hi again, Roshan. So it's a pleasure to be back, and I look forward to your beautiful questions.
Subheer, you mentioned why it is important to have a good attitude to start the day, because it also defines your week, and your week defines your months, the months defines the years and your life. We agree on this. Okay. We all face difficult situations. What difference does it make when we are creative when facing those situations?
Exactly. Beautiful question, Roshan. And that goes in line with education. Why is it important that creativity is included in education? So when you say difficult situation, it means difficult for you because you don't have the key to unlock that situation. It might be difficult for you, and for someone else, it's quite easy. That's one thing. But we find it difficult because it's something very often we are not ready for it, or we haven't faced it.
No.
So, for example, when you get into school, right, you would come out after 20 years of the system, and let's say it's 2020, and then this student will work in the 2050s. So do we know today how 2050 will look like? What would the technology be? What would the issues be? What would be the human problem we would be facing at work? It's clearly the unknown, isn't
100%.
it? So we are preparing kids today. We have to know to make them face the unknown. So when you're facing the unknown means a situation that you don't know and you haven't faced before. That's what you call the unknown.
That's unknown.
So if you want to face something you've never faced before, intelligence is one thing, but more than intelligence, you need to find a new solution to a problem you've never faced before. So to find a new solution to face the problem that you've never faced before, the key to that is creativity.
How do you get above this problem then?
Yeah. So people, what you're trying to say, they get stuck in a problem.
And it creates a vicious circle.
Yeah. So I'm stuck in this problem. What does getting stuck in a problem means? I'm in a situation and I don't know the way forward, right? When I don't know the way forward, I'm stuck. I'm still here, and I stay here because I don't know how to go out. How to make the next step. What are the next steps? It means that I'm out of options.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
You agree with me on this one? So it actually may not be true because that's not reality. It's your perception of reality. And now when you're in a problem, how is your state? In big state, happy state, or in a low state, or close to depression? And now in that state, can you think creatively? No, you cannot. So, and second thing, what brought you into that state is your level of thinking. But what will get you out of this present state, which you call a problem, is not the same level of thinking. because this level of thinking brought you into that problem. To get out of it, you need a new level of thinking, a very different attitude, a different mindset, isn't it? So first thing, one more thing is you got to elevate yourself. You know, you need to improve yourself, because else no one will come to rescue you. There's no superhero like in movies who come take your hand and get you out of this. You need to be your own superhero.
Okay.
You need to know that to get out of it, I need to take care of my life. Take absolute full responsibility. Some people, they sit here and they said, it's because of this, because of that, because of this one, that I'm in this state.
Yes.
And that's one. And very often, this is what is referred to as the victim attitude. There's a situation, there's a bad guy, and that's why I'm here.
Okay.
And there's another mindset. It's the lion attitude, it's the winner's mindset. He said, I'm here because I made those decisions, and I myself take full responsibility. Now, give it a thought. In this problem, if you tell yourself, if I am the only one who has to take entire responsibility to get myself out of this situation, what are the 3 things I need to do? Write it down and try to act upon it. These will be the first few steps that's going to get you out in your present state. And then you repeat that again, you will see progress in your life.
So we have to write down our problems? Is that what you're trying to say?
Sometimes writing down helps us, because actually the problem is always in the head.
Of course.
And the first step of moving from problem domain to solution domain is take that burden off your head and put it on paper.
So you download it?
You download it on paper, you write all your problems, and now start to think, as we said, creatively, but with strength. For each problem, this is a massive problem, you write a solution, and now you have a massive solution, and then the next one, you know, take massive action, and you would surely see you out of the situation.
But surely, Subheer, it's not that easy, come on, if you have a massive problem and just write it down and you think the solution will come?
If you don't act on the idea, it won't happen.
So you're trying to say we have to start somewhere?
You have to do it. Unless you do it, it won't happen. If you sit and say it's difficult, then it is difficult. Someone said that. You know, if you think it's difficult, it's difficult. If you think it's easy, it's easy. If you think you can do it, you can do it. If you think you cannot do it, you're also right. It's all your choice. What I'm telling is take absolute personal responsibility of getting yourself out of it. And I think the world is a beautiful place. Once you set that intention, you would see how the world in a beautiful way conspires and come to your help and take you out of it.
That leads me nicely to my next question. Subheer, are we wrongly being educated?
I mean, we are all product of this education system. Yes, we need now also to find out ways to improve what's already there. I think there are areas that needs to be improved. For example, we spoke about creativity. The second thing, Roshan, is do you play the piano?
No, but I can play a few notes.
Do you play violin?
No.
No, but I want you to play violin. Can you play violin?
No.
You wouldn't be able. So what we want students to do is concentrate. You concentrate. Can't you concentrate? It's like same thing. Can't you play violin? But if I've never taught you how to play violin, how are you going to play the violin? Yeah. If I've never taught you how to concentrate, the only thing the adults used to tell us, and we tell the kids now, or the teachers used to tell, can't you concentrate? Please concentrate. And I would say, please tell me, show me how to concentrate, right? So I think a very important aspect that needs to be integrated in our education system is mindfulness. And that's been done by the Harvard, the Oxford, and Cambridge, and the Google. They all understand that it's very important. In some countries, I think in the UK, it's an integral part of their system. And I think mindfulness needs to have a place in our education system, and also values need to have a greater place in this.
I think it is starting to come slowly. It's a concept that more and more people are being aware now, because many of our educators, even though that it's not part of the curriculum yet, but many educators are already practicing it with their students in terms of every day they have their students to sit for 5 minutes and just close the eyes and do nothing, and just let thoughts come and go, and it calms the mind also.
Exactly.
So is it also what you do in your morning routine when you meditate? You
Exactly.
yeah.
You know, the mind is full all the time, right? So let's say you want to give me something, Roshan, but my hands are full. Can I take it from you? I won't have space.
No chance.
So the kids come to the classes with their mind full, right, of distraction, of this and that. So how can learning happen with such a state of mind? So we need to clear out all the unnecessary distraction in everyone's head, and we do that every morning. And then we are receptive to new knowledge. We are receptive to new opportunities. But most of the time, it's like things of the past are still in the head.
Yes.
You know, the bad memories, the bad emotion, the things we haven't let go yet. And now, how can we spot new opportunities? How can we be open to new learning when the mind is so full? So we need to empty that. So the question is, does the children have to learn how to let go? My answer to you, Roshan,
I don't think they need to learn how to let go.
We need to learn from them how to let go. Exactly. You look at my little kid.
Yeah.
We have a sweet little fight, and after 2 minutes, she comes and hugs me.
Yeah.
But if I have a fight with an adult, it will take 2 hours, 2 weeks, sometimes 2 years to let go of that.
Yes.
So when we have kids, it's also important to know that there's lots to learn from the kids.
100%.
And letting go, there's no better teacher than my kids, you know.
But Subheer, you also were young. You were also like them.
Exactly. And then, you know, the word
so we got lost along the way.
Exactly, exactly. You know, these things that we are trying to build resilience with us, it was always in us, you know. If you look at a little kid, he fell down and he woke up. He fell down and he stood up again. Fell down until he started walking. I'll tell you a little story, Roshan, if you allow me. There was 2 kids playing near a well, and their ball fell in the well. So the other kid went and tried to get the ball from the well, and he fell into the well. So they were alone in that space, not knowing what to do. His other small kid sent a rope down and pulled the kids out. And they went back to their village and told everyone. And soon this became the talk of the village for the wrong reason. They say, is that kid, you know, really saying what he's saying? Is it true? How can a small kid pull out another small kid? He doesn't have the strength.
Yes.
So they went to the village headman and asked the question, is that true? The old village headman was like, you know, this wise old man sitting under the tree and gathered everyone, all the adults there. He said, you know, this little kid actually did it. It's very true. And you know why? Because there was no one to tell him that he cannot do it, not even himself. You get the point?
A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story. So when you don't have people pulling you down, you have no reason to doubt that you cannot do it.
There should be no people to tell you, and you yourself should not, you know, tell you that. Because the person you talk to most is yourself, that you call self-talk, that chatter that goes on. Make sure that it's positive. It's uplifting you most of the time.
The importance of values nowadays, is it eroding? Is it why we have less empathy? Is that affecting our intelligence? Is it affecting the responsibility we take for ourselves in society and towards other people? I would love to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the world, what you call the world, you know.
Society.
The society, especially those high-intensity marketing campaign that goes on, a lot of information that is poured into our heads. We are like a sponge, Roshan. We are walking and we are absorbing a lot of things. And anything that this brain is absorbing shapes your behavior. Mm-hmm. Now, you pay attention to certain things more and certain things less. Now, the volume of information that we've we are consuming now, I don't have the stats, but I think it's enormous.
It's enormous.
It's enormous compared to 50 years ago, right?
All in the palm of our hands.
In the palm of our hands. So definitely that is shaping our behavior.
Yes.
And I would call this marketing world, they are shaping our behavior in a way to increase our desires. But increasing our desires is also increasing our greed. You just go back home, do a little test, look at how much things we have which we don't need and we won't use, right? So that's been sold to us and make us act impulsively. So we need now to take control and say, you know, and it's kind of revolutionary now in this world where everyone wants to sell something, everyone wants to catch a little bit of your attention, to say, no, I don't want this, this is where my focus is. That's where your sense of values come into play. That's where you need to strengthen those muscles of values, because it's easy to fall in the wrong path, because these wrong paths give you quick gratifications and, you know, quick successes, whereas the path of values is slightly longer. For example, hard work. It's easier, you know, to grab something unhealthy and eat and feel happy about it than to say no and, you know, exercise hard and exert self-discipline on yourself.
And remain healthy.
But it gives long-lasting rewards, and as you said, you remain healthy.
So how do you strengthen your values then? Well, before we strengthen our values, probably we should have someone to teach us the values, right?
Exactly.
That comes from the parents, I guess.
The parents and...
you have classes also that you can attend.
Exactly, and it's part of the education. Actually, what is education? It's the transmission of knowledge from one generation to the other.
Agreed.
So whatever this generation has learned, has got it from the previous generation. So we cannot always blame this generation for being the way they are, which people tend to do.
Can I add something to it? I don't blame the current generation, because the generation before them, I mean their parents, most of them, both parents are working and they did not have time to spend a lot of time with their children. Yeah. So the only thing that they had is the internet, and they all go by the internet. So I think because of the evolution of technology, they are suffering through no mistake of their own. So I think it's important for people to remember this.
Yeah, I mean, and they grab things that were given to them. Maybe it was, they were not given to them, so they learn whatever they were exposed to. And that's why they behave the way they behave.
Like you mentioned in the previous episode, we're like a seed, but we will grow. So even if we don't get any kind of formal educational guidance, we will learn from what we have around us.
But it's important to select what we learn, because we are like a seed, but also like a sponge. We will absorb anything and everything.
So yeah, so how do you strengthen your set of values then?
So it's like a muscle. And anything, be it your values, be it a character trait, you strengthen it by practicing it. I have this beautiful piece here. So there are two things I can do. I can, you know, leave it here and appreciate the beauty, or I can steal it and sell it. Isn't it? You are always given a choice in life. So if in this tempting moment, let's say, for example, I decide to be honest, so I'm strengthening my values. So every day you have these little opportunities of strengthening a value that is a good value, or committing to an act which will be detrimental to your set of values. So you always have a choice, and you need to look at the world as a terrain, as a field, as a space where you can, you know, strengthen your values and use and spot every opportunity to put those values into practice. But it takes guts and courage.
What would be an advice that you would give to parents nowadays, given that you are a specialist in the field of education?
It's choose a field which you really love, but that's not always easy. Then, if you cannot choose that, love the field that you've chosen. And focus on that for 5 years, 10 years. And it's not a secret, it's an open secret that if you really focus and go deep in any field for over 10 years, people will start to say that, yeah, this guy or this girl is, is a master in this field.
Yeah.
So whatever field you choose, ensure that you work in that field, in your craft with a lot of love, dedication, passion, hard work. And the final piece of advice is, whatever you do, ensure that you become a man of good values. Because in business, a man of values is the most valuable asset. And in this field, in this field of good people, there's not much competition. So you can surely strive.
But you surely have, you're talking about fields and there's not much competition. But of course, you do get short-term gains. Let's say if you are not respectful of your values or you try to find shortcuts. But those people those businesses who find a way to do shortcuts, I'm being very diplomatic here.
I got you.
Do you feel that they always get found out in the end?
Don't take those shortcut ways, which takes you to the top. You stay there, but your foundations are not strong.
Okay.
And you can crumble on any day.
So basically, if you have a very strong foundation, it will take more time to grow and raise, but wherever you are is where you have to be.
Where you have to be, yeah. And you're going to feel happy. You're going to feel really satisfied. And I think you're going to be a beacon of light for others as well, to tell them that this is possible this way as well. And you're also being of service to others through example.
Subheer, you're an author. You recently launched a book. Is it the same reason why you launched the book?
I think yes. I think that's one of the reasons.
The Guru and his CEO.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the world right now, there's never been so much of sorrow, discontent, and anger and hatred in the world. Yet there's never been so much of resources as well. Resources are just available compared to 50 years ago. Houses are bigger, better, roads are bigger and better, in a general sense, right? But yet you see so much of unhappiness in the world, and that's not normal. There's so much of education, but you've seen a downward spiral in people. So in all this chaos, I've been someone who I feel very blessed and very happy. And that happened because of a way of life. And the book is about, for me, it's a sharing, it's a way of serving society, to share with them, that's all. Share with people that there's a way of life which can lead you to a better destination, and along the way can make the way beautiful for you as well.
Oh, beautiful. Well, Subheer, thank you very much for sharing this. I hope this is not the last book. I hope there will be more coming. All the best with your career in the field of higher education. All the best as an author. All the best as a musician. And, of course, keep shining as a beautiful human being.
Thank you, Roshan. It's a pleasure speaking to you, and I wish you all the best with your beautiful show of Encounter.
Thank you very much. And before concluding, I would like to take this opportunity to share with the viewers of Encounter that Subheer is a friend that I know since 30 years, and I felt that at some point it was very important for him to come on Encounter, because we've had some years that we shared very intensely in terms of education of human values, and he has kind of you have made this your life, and in terms of, because you're in the field of education and you do incorporate it in your field of work.
Yes.
And I feel that you share a lot, and from all your experience, this is the reason why you're here, not because you're my friend, but also because you have a lot to share. So I thank you very much for it. And
thank you for the opportunity.
It's such an honor to have you, and it was such a comfortable and casual conversation.
It was. I enjoyed it. Thank you, Roshan.
Thank you very much, Subheer.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of this episode of Encounter. If you have any proposals, suggestions on the guest, on the topic, feel free to drop an email. It's encounter@mbc.net.mu. Until the very next program, goodbye.